Hey everybody, I wanted to pop in here real quick and give you guys a short little video over our week 6 content. We are focusing on the argumentative essay. So most of you guys have turned in your second essay, your rhetorical analysis, and you'll be seeing those grades coming up pretty quickly. I think I've gotten through about half of those so far. So if you're waiting, they'll be done here within the next day or two. So hang in there. As usual, if you're not happy with your grade and you want to shoot for a higher grade, you're welcome to take the feedback and some of the edits that are on your paper and make whatever necessary tweaks you need to make and resubmit it. I'm always happy to work with you. Writing is a process, and sometimes we don't nail it that first time, so try again. Let's keep writing and keep working until you meet the objectives that we need to have. So hopefully that kind of boosts a little bit of confidence for some of you guys that might be struggling a little bit with this particular essay. I want to take a little bit of time here to talk about our very last essay that we're going to do. We are going to be putting together our argumentative essay. And we're going to apply some of the skills that we did in essay 1, which is to learn to look critically at the information that we're coming in, through a certain text. And in this case, I have a couple options for you. And then we're also going to consider the rhetorical elements that we used in our second essay, with the logos, pathos, and ethos, and really just kind of consider how a good argument is put together. We see this with Martin Luther King Jr.'s letter from a Birmingham jail, how he uses all 3 rhetorical appeals. He uses logic, he establishes credibility, and he reaches out emotionally to connect with his audience. We want to make sure that we are doing the same kinds of moves when we put our essay together. And if you listen to the podcast, you're going to see one of the things I'm particularly interested in from last week was Renskew. And this formula will help you to meet all of those objectives. So we're going to go ahead and head straight down here. And you're going to see that what I'm doing for this particular essay is I'm giving you 2 options. You can either choose to write on the topic of whether or not you think superheroes are helpful or damaging to society. And if you scroll down just a little bit, you're going to see I have a couple articles. I have one article arguing for the importance of superheroes, and another article that argues that superhero films are actually terrible for democracy. So for that particular essay, if you're interested in superheroes, you like Marvel, you like comic books, you like film, this is an interesting topic to explore. I'm hoping that you can see a couple things here. One, that everything is an argument, including the films that we watch. And that there's different ways that we can engage in this as scholars. You can absolutely engage in a topic like superheroes in scholarly work. As a matter of fact, I had a rhetoric professor who had his PhD in the rhetoric of comic books of all things. So he really kind of set me on this journey of seeing these texts as something worthy of exploration. So I have another option for you guys if you're not really into superheroes. And I was inspired to do this one because of just a really great discussion on our boards last week when we were talking about the allegory of the cave and how sometimes our social media or our internet becomes essentially a digital cave. And I have here an argument that you can consider on social media. And you have a couple options you can do with this one. You can take the information that you used as you put together your argument last week for our discussion board and maybe elaborate on this a little bit and consider this as the argumentative essay. In order to do this, you're going to want to build in a little bit more information, but you're going to follow the Renskew formula in either topic. But many of you guys had a great article on Robert Meadows' debate about social media as a digital cave. And so I'm going to allow you, if you're interested in that topic, you want to explore this a little bit further, you're welcome to do that. I'd be interested in reading this paper. So this is a second option. So you're going to choose, whether you want to write on superheroes and use the 2 texts I give you as your textual evidence, or you're going to choose the one on social media, whether social media is, good for society or bad for society, or whether it's like an allegory of the cave or not. Like, you have some room there as long as you're making an argument, right? I'm looking for a thesis statement. I'm looking for 5 paragraphs, an introduction, 3 body paragraphs, which are going to be those academic paragraphs, and a conclusion. Now, you need to make sure that you have your thesis statement, and I'm looking for Renskew. I'm hoping to see reasons for your position, examples. This can be from the text. You're going to have questions and quotations. You're going to use the names of the writers, maybe examples with people's names of experts, sensory words. And so all of the Renskew formula should be found in your final product. So let this help guide you, because I'm hoping that you saw in the exercise we did last week on the discussion board, and we're playing around with this idea of Renskew and applying it to our writing. I saw some of the best discussion posts I've seen the entire semester. So I really think this actually helps to help you develop the logic and the credibility that you need for a great argument. And most of you are already coming in with a claim that is somehow emotionally based. You're either really for this or really against this. And I'm excited to see where you take this. Now, you're also going to need to have an outline for this particular assignment. Now, I have in here, if you click into here, you can see a really simple sample outline. I don't need anything completely elaborate. I'm not sure how far along you've gotten in that, but I have an example in here. You just want to have a simple one where it has your thesis statement. And then, maybe a little intro, and you're going to line out your 3 body paragraphs and a conclusion. So check this over and kind of get an idea of what we're doing there. I do have a review for MLA. We just want to make sure that, when you're using quotations are good, but if you don't have a parenthetical citation or an introduction before that, you still walk a line with not properly citing your work. And we want to avoid all charges of plagiarism, right? Even if it's accidental, some professors are huge sticklers for that. So either have an introduction in the article Robert Meadows suggests, and then you can have that in quotations because I've already told you Robert Meadows says this. Or you can have the quote there, and then at the end, you're going to have your parenthetical citation where it's going to say Meadows and whatever page number you found this on, right? If that's applicable. So you want to make sure you're citing it in that quote somewhere, either before it or after it. And if you need some review on that, just go ahead and check out the examples. I also have, I love Purdue OWL. I think they're just a great tool as a scholar. So go ahead and mark that in your page, like bookmark it, because you're going to use it over and over again. But you can see what a sample works cited page looks like. And if you're writing on the superheroes, you're going to want to have at least one of these articles in here. Sometimes you can have both. You can, quote the one that you disagree with and say, and they're wrong because, and then you provide your own explanation, right? So Robert Meadows is going to be one of the sources that you would want for the digital cave essay with the social media. But man, this video I have here on why fake accounts dominate Instagram is so absolutely worthy of your time. It's about 40 minutes. It's a documentary. It's in Denmark. Sometimes there's subtitles, but you know what? Don't let that bother you. Watch it anyway. Because most of my classes, when I show them this video, they're really shocked at how prevalent fake accounts are, at how the system works, how influencers, come into the picture, how they manipulate the system, how it messes up the algorithms. And, anytime you're scrolling through and playing on Instagram, I think you can't help but to go back to this and realize like how phony so much of this really is. And it'll open your eyes, but it's also full of great, rich data. There's interviews with experts. So there's your names and your credibility for this paper. It gives you statistics. It gives you dates. It tells you how many fake followers Katy Perry has, because yes, you can find that out. And all of this stuff is great. So there's the numbers, the names, examples, all of that stuff for Renskew can be found in this documentary, which will really help boost up your paper to be, on point, and it will make you more informed about how social media is, constructed. Let me see. Okay, so you're just going to pick one essay. You're not writing 2 essays here. You can decide, do you want to carry on the conversation about social media, or are you done with that and you really just want to write something a little bit more fun? I love superheroes and I love talking social media, so I'm excited either one that you choose. And what you're going to do is you're going to come down where you're going to see what you need to write this week. You can see right here, you're going to have an outline, and this is just for your essay. And you're going to turn in your thesis statement. Just send me a thesis statement on whichever one you're going to do. Remember, that's making a claim and having a roadmap. And what I mean by that is you can say social media is bad for society. That's a claim because, and give me 3 reasons. But remember, you want to have that in only one sentence, right? This is cats are better than dogs because they're quiet, low maintenance, and more intelligent, right? I gave you 3 reasons, but I didn't give you 3 sentences for each one of those. That's a thesis statement. So you're going to want to learn to distill your argument down to a very concise, simple sentence, right? All right, so the next thing we have here is you're going to see I have 2 different discussion topics. You only need to post in one. If you are going to write on social media, I want you to practice filling out Renskew, right? So you're going to watch the film on Instagram and you're going to look at Robert Meadows' article again. Maybe you can go back to last week's discussion post and start elaborating on it. And you're going to just have your discussion there. Anybody else writing on social media is going to come in and have a conversation with you there. If you're going to do superheroes, then you're going to write in this discussion forum on the superhero topic. You do not need to do both. You are only going to choose one. And you are going to try to fill out as much of you as you can of your Renskew. I have right here, this is just our pre-writing. This is where we discuss our topics. We create a list for Renskew. Practice with your thesis statement. Man, I would put this up there before you send it to me, because your peers, some of your peers are writing strong thesis statements. They're going to be able to come back and say, you might want to break this down a little bit. It's too long. Or I only see 1 reason in here. You should have 3 reasons. Maybe you didn't get a quote. Maybe one of your peers did. Brainstorm together, work together. This is a wonderful teamwork collaboration, especially if you guys are all writing on the same essay. And one of the things I'm hoping that comes out of this is you guys do collaborate on an essay. And I absolutely would allow that as long as you have people who are, collaborating together and each of those people are contributing to this essay. And if that happens, when we get to that rough draft that you're going to submit next week on the discussion board, as long as your team is all working together towards this great essay, then I'm going to just grade that one essay and give you guys all credit for it. But if you have someone that's coming in and just, hey, yeah, that's really nice. I like what you said there. They're not working. They're not working. So they're not going to get, I'm just going to grade theirs separately. Right? So if you're into collaboration, you want to get together with a team, then have that discussion, maybe put that in your comment. I'd love to collaborate and work on this with someone else. Take notes, maybe, reach out through email. You can email anybody through the class list and get together, over Google Docs, or create your own Zoom meeting, or hash it out right there in the discussion and come together and write a great essay. We don't have to do an individual one, but we just need every individual working. This is the goal. And make sure that we're hitting all these topics, the Renskew, the thesis statement, and the outline, right? So 2 topics here, social media or superheroes. I hope these are fun for you. I hope you enjoy them. Now, as far as grammar, ooh, look at this. I'm going to fix this right now. Sometimes they're hidden because I write all the content before I post this up, but we have some different, word usage slides and just some information. If you struggle with there, and there, two and two and two, some of those things. I do have a little form up. We talked about this in the Zoom meeting last week. But if you're a visual person, you want to look at this, I have the handout here plus some slides with all of those. Plus I have a little bit of extra information here on commas. And there's 8 bazillion different comma rules out there, but if you can just get the handful of them down that we focus on the most, then you're going to do just fine. And then we have another practice quiz here. We're running to the end of these practice quizzes. This is week 6, and we're going to be opening up in about a week and a half. I'll open up your final exam, which is the grammar test. So we're coming down to the very end of the road here. You're working on your last essay for me, and hopefully you guys are turning in those oral presentations. Those certainly need to be turned into me by next week, by the end of next week. And then you're going to take the grammar exam, and guys, y'all are done. We are almost through. So if you have any outstanding work you need to turn in, I'm happy to work with you. Get those into me as soon as possible. These sessions are short. It's 8 weeks. It's a ton of information, a ton of content. And I understand that you're working from home. Some of you guys have kids that are using Zoom all day on the computer, and it's a struggle, but I'm willing to work with you on that. So as long as you get the work in, I have something I can grade. And I would much rather give you a grade than give you a 0, but I can't do anything about work that's not turned in. So let's go through, look at what you have outstanding, and I will take in your late work. Let's work together, get through English 101. We're almost done. We're almost done. So hopefully this makes sense for you. Have a little bit of an idea of what you're going to do. Just start by checking out the 2 topics and the information that we have and see, man, which one do I want to work on? Right? All right. I will offer a Zoom meeting later this week and hopefully answer any questions. You guys know how to reach me. You can send me an email. You can send me a text as long as it's before like 9 at night. I go to bed early because I'm old. You can call me on the phone during the day. You can go to the discussion forum under Ask the Professor, and I'm happy to jump on there. I check D2L several times a day. And I'm happy to answer any questions. So reach out to me at any time, and good luck this next week. I hope you have a great one.